So let's restart this here. Hi, uh, my name's Jacker, 76, or Nate, if you just want to call me that on YouTube. That's what'll be my YouTube name under anyways. So, Nate, nice to meet you guys. I'm an 18-year-old kid, so, but I've been playing DC for a very long time, and I wanted to talk about kind of like the whole stats revamp that's happening. Because I got some complaints, and I got some things that I like about it, and I'm a veteran of DC. I've been playing since I was young. I think 2011 is when DC came out, Dcuo came out, and all that stuff. And I was playing in December of 2011, so not long. It was like 2 months after the game became free. I started playing, so I've been playing for a pretty long time. I do like to count myself as a veteran. If you guys disagree, that's perfectly fine. I don't really mind, but that's what I just count myself as. Um, so I'm a villain on Dcuo, and I've been playing for a while, and I'm mental right now and all that stuff. But I wanted to talk about a lot of stuff about that, the new stats revamp, and like 1.3 just dropped, all that stuff. But I really wanted to talk about um, this trolling thing. The trolling thing is pretty big with me. Some of the DPS stuff I also have to talk about. But first, I want to go off with the trolling. So controlling is like it's weird on DC. Not a lot of MMOs have a controller, or one of the only ones that we have like a set controller, right? It's usually just like a tanky type ability, like a power or a character, a DPS one that's probably better at DPSing, and then there's always like that one that's like like a healer, um, but never one that like gives out power, like DCO has their controller. Well, with this new stats revamp, they're talking about giving controllers the POT innate ability to where as long as you're being a troller doing your troll thing, you give up power over time. I don't like this because from the looks of it, like the research that I've done so far, like through YouTube and through people, is that trolls aren't giving out enough power for some reason. And I don't like this either in another ways is just because like trollers have three things they gotta do. You can technically count four, but I never sat there and stuck this to a controller. One of them is to, of course, their instant ability, like recharge on hard light, a couple other powers. I don't remember necessarily the names, um, where it gives out an instant little bit of power. They have their POT, power over time, and yeah, everybody knows what that is. Like train on hard light, or like the tendrils, I think, on mental. They give power over time, and you gotta know when to pop it, how many times to pop it, so on and so forth. So it adds a little bit of skill to it. Then you have of course, your debuffs like the defense, the heal debuff, um, and stuff like that. Now, and then of course the last one, which is the quote unquote controversial one, is pickups. Trolls will be the ones that's supposed to pick up. Personally, I don't think so. I think the ones that should be picking up are DPS. I think that just makes it fair because the only thing we're there for is to get the boss down faster. So why can't we do something else as well while there's a troller who's trying to debuff and give us power? So that's just my personal opinion. But anyways, back to the point. It takes away this little bit of like skill for those trollers, and there's some like really hardcore DCO players who just love the troll. They don't play any other role but controller. Now it's more rare these days, but it's still a thing. And I think that taking that away from them is a wrong thing to do. Um, I think that they really just shouldn't touch the other roles other than DPS. I don't think they should touch those other roles. You know what I mean? I think they should sit there and stick to what they're doing with the DPSs and kind of tweak it the which way they need to go, but just balance out the support roles and that they're balanced out to where they're not broken and they're not unusable. Um, the only good things I really have to say about it right now is the fact that from looking at videos and research and so on and so forth, is that I have noticed that you need like two controllers in raids now on the test server. You need a controller in the content that you're playing, and I like that. I don't like the fact that DCO has gotten so easy. Um, like running, underworld trials, UT with 3 DPSs, 4 or maybe 4 DPS or 3 DPSs and a healer. It's not okay. You know what I'm saying? You should always need a controller to give you that power. So I like that. I do like that. That is one thing that I really do like, the fact that it seems like that controllers are going to be used more. Same thing with all the roles. The support roles. They're all going to be used more. I do like that. I do like that. That sounds good. Um, and another good note is that means that DPSs seem like they're getting significantly nerfed. I'm sorry, but I don't think that it's okay for someone like myself, like in 188. I got 207 skill points, right? I come here, and look, I just hit almost a mill on those sword targets. Now, I am mental, so therefore, I do sit there, and I am a little bit glitchy, and that's fucked up. But I don't think that's okay. I think that we need to hit a little bit weaker. I think that'd be an awesome idea. But DPSs should not have to spec into power. So for example, I watched a video about this guy who's talking about how he was spec'ing to all this power instead of his might. Why? I mean, it should not be a thing. We don't need power. We're a DPS. We should have our base power stat, and then we should be focusing on our damage, which is might and precision. That is the two things that help us as DPSs, right there. Not power, not health, not defense, not none of it, but might and precision. I cannot stress that enough. So that's why I don't like that. I don't think that we should be speccing into power. They need to kind of tweak that to where, yes, maybe that we don't get power generation anymore, other than through our weapons on the test server with the whole stats revamp. But they do need to make it to where we can cooldowns maybe for the powers instead of having so much power cost per power. Maybe it's a little bit less to where you can maybe run through a rotation without losing your whole power bar. That would make it enough to where it's okay. You know what I mean? It's not to where we have to sit there and focus on power. And now, even if we do focus on power, because there probably are some DPS, there's DPS out here of 295 skill points, they could spec into as much power and still get all their 175 might if that's what they choose. So, what's it matter? But it matters for players who don't have enough skill points. And this whole thing is for more skill points mean more DPS or more abilities, which equals more fun, blah, blah, blah. Yes, but right now, the way that Dcuo is, the community is, we don't have this massive amount of skill points. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I have 207. That's not a ginormous amount, and that's not a low amount. I am in the middle tier. But personally, I don't think that they should sit there and go from one end of the spectrum where skill points almost don't even matter to the other end of the spectrum. If you have no skill points, then you shouldn't even be playing Dcuo. That should not. They need to meet in the middle to where it's nice and safe. That's just kind of my opinion on it. On the DPS side, like I watched a video recently on Atomic, and he was using the combo loadout. The guy he was using the combo loadout, and which is awesome. The combo loadout's awesome, but he was on the test server, blah blah blah. You know what I'm talking about here. But he was on the test server, and he was running out of power so quickly that he couldn't keep up on the damage board. But in the beginning of it, if you watch the video, he was actually doing the most damage there. That's not good. One of their Atomic's PI, power interactions, if you want to call it a power interaction, is that they like to use a Glucon Aura. The Glucon Aura, it's a thing, it increases damage. It says it in the thing. You could use your combos. So why in the hell is he running out of power? Well, that's because every time he gets a combo, it uses a lot of power. So the way I see that they can fix that is simple. And this is not for all powers necessarily, but this is for Atomic, I guess. When the Glucon Aura is active, less power cost. Not power back, less power cost per combo. So Atom Splitter, Thermochemical Explosion, Beta Surge, all those, Nuclear Burst, Nuclear Bomb, those powers, when you have the Glucon Aura active, they do not use as much power. Um, you know, they still use power, but they don't use as much. Maybe half the power they normally would. Maybe even a little bit less than that. Just so that it's fair. Because the way that it's going is I can already see this is how it's going to be. The hybrid technique, which is what they've posted on the forums and stuff, is that there's the three ways that they want us to possibly DPS. Hybrid, where we use our weapon and our powers. There's the second one where we use our just our powers, just like we've been doing with advanced mechanics. Power, 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 a lot of burst. And then the last one is just primarily focus on weapon. The two that are the ones that are either just leaning to one side or the other are not going to be viable unless you're a pet power. That's another worry of mine. Pet powers. How the heck is a pet power supposed to be balanced in a game where the pets are based off of your CR? They never were based off of stats in the first place. So what are you going to do? Make them based off of stats all of a sudden? Is Crystal and Fury going to be based off a might stat or a precision stat? Like, how are they going to do that? They got to think about that. They got to think about the combo powers. Hardlight, for example. Hardlight's advanced mechanic right now is the infinite combo. What's going to happen? You pop one combo and you have to quit, or if you sit there and keep an infinite combo running, you just drain power. Like, how does that work? Can you keep an infinite combo? Is there like what's going to happen with that? They got to think about those things. So there's a lot to be skeptical about, and like I'm being optimistic for this because I really want this to happen, because if they get this and they pull this off correctly, this will make DCO, honestly might make DCO a very, very, very amazingly balanced MMO. And I would love to see that, because it hasn't been in a freaking ever, and it's never been balanced. There's always an OP power, always a flavor of the month, and as of right now, it's been a flavor of the year. Ice, the pet powers, mental, these powers are all super, super, super strong. They're way stronger than all these other powers. They have exploits and stuff like that, and that's not okay. Like pet powers, they have their supercharge, like Earth. You speed drain if you feel like it, or whatever else the other ones are called. But like speed drain for super speed. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't need to be that way. But I can't be trashing on it the whole time, because like I said, I like the fact that we are kind of getting nerfed. DPSs are kind of getting nerfed, and I think that's good. I do think that's a great thing, and I might be repeating myself there, but I think that's a really good thing, because we can't be running things with just DPS. An MMO has roles. They're supposed to be played. So why not play them? I'm going to finish this off with a little bit of gameplay here. I should have been playing a little bit more the whole time. I might get out TPS. Who knows? He's 189. I'm not the world's greatest DPS, but I do my thing. But I'm going to continue talking on possibly a channel. I don't know if I'll keep uploading. This is going to be a super long video, and a lot of people don't like super long videos, but I do believe that I might do some loadout videos, if you wouldn't mind seeing those. I don't know if anyone's even going to see this and comment, but if you do, I'd appreciate it. Go from there. Because I love playing DC, I love playing Destiny, I love playing Call of Duty, and I would love to make any type of video on those. That would be great. I also like make loadout videos. I'm not like the anti-villain almost, where like I am a villain. I'm not a hero. I don't like heroes. I don't care about beef between the two necessarily anymore. But what I do like is helping people. There's a lot of kids on Dcuo now. There's a lot of new players on Dcuo that just don't know what they're doing. They don't know. They've never played before, and stuff like that. And I'd like to help them out. I like to do that. Go through a duo that you don't even need to run, and you're like, hey, buddy, do you need help with this? Here, let me help you. So if you would like that, I change my power frequently, so like I'm mental right now. When I get bored, don't be surprised seeing me gadgets or um, sorcery or one of those, just a different power. I just love being them. I love changing it up. So if you would like to see any of that, please comment below. Um, as for this video, I'm gonna end it off with ending this good old duo. I hope that Dcuo keeps making the right step forward, because at this rate, it's gonna go down and down and down and down, just because content's pretty easy. So if content gets harder, it's great. This kind of seems like a Dcuo scapegoat in my opinion as well. Not really gonna get into that. I might get into that in a different video. To where by them nerfing DPSs, they don't have to make content harder. Is pretty much the premise of what I'm saying. I remember when Wave was like this raid that like you just couldn't, like there was people that just could not beat it. I know I couldn't for a long time. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. When I first did Wave, I was a DPS still playing, and I did the glitch, the clown box glitch. If any of you guys remember that, to get that gear. And to think that like DCO's changed that much is insane to me. It's great. Don't get me wrong. I think that they're doing great things. Like honestly, this DLC is fantastic. With everything, I think honestly they did very well. I mean, some of it is recycled content, but what do you expect them to do? They've been making this stuff for years and years and years now, and you can't really blame them for making recycled content. But on that note, I think I actually might try to upload this video, and then I think I'm going to do a mental DPS guide and loadout, just talk about it a little bit. Not like there isn't a million of them, but that's what I'm going to talk about. But this is the end of this video and my first ever YouTube video, so